What is going on, guys? This is the bogey-free podcast for the 2018 Tour Championship. I'm your host, Evan Cheney, and I am today joined by my co-host, Matt and Jimmy. How are you doing today, guys?
Doing great. I just flashed like a what's up sign on my camera, and I realized that's right. My camera's off because I'm having connection issues. So
I mean, the picture
you can picture my beautiful face giving you golf information for the next however long we're going to be on this podcast. But I'm good. I'm ready for the final week of the golf season. I mean, it's only like, off season is like a whole 3 weeks, but I'm really ready for it because it's football season. And I'm going to be honest, I've done exactly zero research for this 30-man field. And I'm excited about it. I feel like the zero research strategy is going to pay off this week.
Full agree. I am on the same page in many different ways. Zero research. I figure I know these guys well enough, and we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, I guess on a side note, like before we get into stuff, I think like this is, if you're ever going to pull off a win on a zero research week, it is a week like this where it's more like game theory than it is like actual like picking, like trying to pick golfers.
Yeah.
You're more playing game theory than you are like trying to pick the right six, it feels like to me.
Yeah, you should definitely be paying. If you don't pay any attention or you don't pay a ton of attention to ownership, this is not the week to do that.
Agreed. Yeah. Duplicate lineup. It's going to be a big thing this week. I'm sure there's going to be just tons and tons of dupes. And I mean, it's possible that the winner is a duplicate lineup as well. So
yeah,
I'm pretty fired up to get into the last week of the season. Just sort of take the break from golf, focus on the football, and come back to golf in a couple of weeks after, because golf's like a long season, man. It kind of gets to be a grind because there's not really an off season. So it's definitely like a welcome change. I'm ready to put the cherry on this season, get to the Ryder Cup because there's no DFS in the Ryder Cup, right? So I'm ready to just be a fan for golf, and then hit the grind again in like 2-3 weeks or however long it is, 4 weeks. But definitely ready for the final event of the season.
Yeah, and speaking of which, before we dive into this week, this channel will go a little dark compared to last year because we're not doing the NFL show here. You can find me over at RotoViz for the On the Daily Pod, and you can find Jimmie over at FanShare and QuantEdge for the ownership podcast that he's doing. So make sure you're checking those out if you actually want to hear any of our opinions about stuff, which, I mean, good on you if you do, but we'll see.
And I'm still on the Canadian grind, so me and my 2 horses.
There you go.
Oh, man. And if you want to talk CFL, my God, was that a shit show.
Oh.
Anyway, back to golf, because I don't think anyone wants to hear about Reggie Beggleton and the Brandon Banks.
That's a made-up name.
Is that a real person?
No, he's a receiver for the Calgary Stampeders.
Bro, what a name. That guy.
Stampeders?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Listen, Johnny Manziel's doing like football things up there as well. So, I mean,
he hasn't played in 2 months.
So he's not doing football things.
No, he's coming back this week, though, because the backup that got hot when he got a concussion, he's just shitting the bed now. So
man, he got Fitzpatrick, huh?
Boy, the Browns organization can't stay out of the news for the life of themselves. God.
They try so hard, but just...
Oh, my God. No, they don't. They don't try hard at all.
Oh,
anyway,
hey,
let's get this thing on to some golf. Let's talk about some golfers and some golf courses. There's plenty of time to lament our NFL failures for the rest of the season. Believe me.
It's very true. So, Jimmy, I'll throw this to you first. Talk about the course and what someone might be looking for to build a player pool this week.
It's East Lake, par 70, fairly difficult golf course. I guess depending on what your game is like for that week. I think it's a very difficult golf course if you're not hitting fairways. If you're playing from the fairway, I think this is a very manageable course, very gettable course. But I do think that the premiums placed on the fairways, especially if this hurricane, if Florence that just hit the East Coast has dumped any amount of rain on East Lake, I do think that it'll be even more important to maximize fairways hit for the week. fairly long rough, a bit of a tree-lined golf course. It's sort of an interesting course in the way it's laid out in the sense that it's a long course at 7,300 yards, but I don't think that the length is prohibitive for your shorter hitters. And when you look at some of the guys that have had success here, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. There are some aspects of the course that are really long, like all the par threes are really long. But there are some very short and gettable par fours. One of the par fives is like short and gettable for everybody. The other one is, pretty much a 3-shot hole for most. So like the way the course lays out, while it's long, I don't think it's prohibitively long. To take out some of your shorter hitters from contention at all. That said, I do believe the course does favor a strokes gained off the tee guy, whether that's, accuracy and distance or just distance. I do think that it's more of like a total driving golf course. Once you get onto the greens, you're probably there. Again, depending on how much water this thing has absorbed from this hurricane, they generally are going to be fast, firm greens at this course, and they're Bermuda, so it's one of those surfaces that is really kind to your Florida, your Southeast guys, and not so kind to golfers that don't regularly play it or didn't grow up on this area. Like John Rahm, for example, just is noted saying he just is not a huge fan of Bermuda, doesn't really know how to putt it, doesn't he has to have himself really great approaches. So we're talking about 30 golfers. I actually really don't think the focus is as much on the course this week as it is on, just the guy that gets hot. And I think that sort of the Tour Championship has shown that every year for the last several years, that it doesn't really matter. It's a gettable course for anybody as long as you show up and you can hit your fairways. And anybody that does that, I think, stands a really good chance to show up at the top of a leaderboard this week. You're talking about the top 30 golfers in the world. So,
well, the top 29 and Patton Kizzire.
Yeah, how did he get here?
Talk about taking advantage of the fall swing. Like,
hey, listen, it got him here, right? I guess.
No, I know it's wild though. I was like, this has to be really.
Yeah.
Good for him though. Shit, he's cashing a check. Who cares?
Oh, hey, absolutely. And I guess it's like football this time of year. We all spend so long studying, a given body of work from the previous season or like tendencies and whatnot during the off season. And then we get to week 1, 2, and 3, and we all feel like every lineup we build is a millionaire maker winner, right? And we all feel like we know the way things are going to go. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick has sort of turned that on its head this year with football. Like, we don't know. Like, teams are never as good as you think they are, and they're never as bad as you think they are. And I think golfers are very much the same because, there's so many intangibles that go into 4 rounds of golf and so many things that go in and out of people's lives. And I'm sure we'll touch on the Dustin Johnson, Paulina thing here in a bit, but like, there's a lot of things that go into this. And I just think it's a good reminder that, even a guy like Patton Kizzire, while I'm sure that we're all writing him off and very few people are going to play him, I'm sure he's not nearly as bad as we all think he is. And I would bet money that he finishes ahead of somebody this week.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well,
first off,
I'll give my fire take about him later.
But then he's going to end up in the winning lineup.
I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked just because he's the only one that's really going to see like no ownership, and like why the hell not? You know what? Why don't we go a little wacky? Why don't we work our way up?
I like it. Let's go backwards. Let's go backwards. I'm going to get fan share open. I haven't talked to the boss, but they're in Spain right now, so I'm going to go ahead and like put some fan share stuff out there this week in the early tags a little bit and see if we can help that guide our conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like obviously there's only 30 guys. Like if you're making a lineup and you're only not playing 24 golfers, like you're going to end up on a lot of the same combinations of people. So I think as we go through this, we could maybe give a couple of hints as to like how to avoid that a little bit, but like playing Patton Kizzire would be one of them. And you just throw him in one lineup. Like you don't have to go crazy, but I think if you have no exposure to him, then you're not really playing the game theory game this week, if that makes sense.
One more thing before we get into the golf talk. Any more Ryan Fitzpatrick mentions on the show?
Oh, that's right. You're in Philly. My bad. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Carson's coming back, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're good. We're fine.
I
Eagles lost week 2 last year.
The to the press conference was like one of the swaggiest things I've ever seen in my
bro,
life.
Bro, I just retweeted. So he stole it from D-Jax.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
So awesome. And he's like midway through the presser. He's like, oh, hey, man, we got to hurry this up. D-Jax is standing over here shirtless with none of his gold chains on.
And Deshaun Jackson, he's another name that just...
Yeah, put the dagger. Put the dagger in.
Little revenge game.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
So,
golf.
So I guess if we start all the way at the bottom, we're going to start with Kevin Na. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Kevin Na. We got our Kazire take. I mean, I don't think he's as bad as everybody says he is, and you can't be, I guess.
I mean, if you're this far, you can't be bad. I imagine.
No, but he has let's see. He has exactly 0 start tags and 3 sit tags.
All right, you want to hear something right now? Here's something for you. I'm on Fantasy Labs right now. He has a better recent adjusted round score than Paul Casey.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
What factors into their adjusted round? Long-term, short-term, 50 rounds?
It's their recent form, so I think it's like the last 6 weeks, and it's adjusted like based on field strength and course and things like that. But yeah,
it's incredible.
Pretty wild.
Wow. Okay. Bottom line is, I don't think Patton Kazire is near the bad play that people think he is. He does not play great on difficult courses. He is, however, a positive Bermuda grass putter. Last 5 finishes is a whole bunch of hot garbage.
Yeah.
He if you're looking for the bright spot to play Patton Kazire in the Northern Trust and the PGA, he gained 5.4 and 4.8 strokes approach.
There you go.
But he hasn't. The last time he gained, it was John Deere's the last time he gained strokes positively with his driver. So
could be problematic.
Yeah, again, I do think this course places a premium on driving.
Yeah.
So sorry, Patton. Moving up. This is so weird. So I've heard some people on Kevin Na already this week. I can understand the play for Kevin Na here. Good Bermuda grass putter, good long iron ball striker, is certainly not gonna I don't think he's gonna be missing too many fairways. Putter's been carrying him a lot, it seems like, in the last 5, 6 events. What are your feelings on Mr. Na?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's one of those things where he pretty much allows you to fit in whatever you want to fit in. Like you can reasonably play like two of the top 3 or 4 guys and still have a lineup that you like. And if you play Kevin Na or Patton Kazire, like you can afford, a heck of a lot more in the 7K range when you're filling out your lineup. So I'm not mad at it. Like if this was a regular week and it was a full field, I don't think I would really be considering him, but like he's dead minimum. So it's worth consideration at least. I think he'll be a little higher owned than you want him to be though. So that's sort of the balancing act that you have to figure out.
I'll have 0 Kevin Na for all those folks concerned about my exposures.
Yeah, I mean, if you would rather just go up a few $100s and play one of these other guys, I think you're probably not losing much in whatever you want to call it, like opportunity cost, and it just evens out.
Yeah.
Well, moving up the field here, I mean, we have a lot of guys here in this like lower 6K range. We can go Kyle Stanley, Wise, Keegan, Mark Leishman. How you guys feeling about them?
This is so weird going backwards. All right.
This was your idea.
This show's going to be an hour and 45 minutes because
Matt's going to go through the best spot. Okay. All right. I do have interest in Cam Smith. Obviously, he burned a lot of people. He was back-to-back T3s and then sort of, dumped on everybody the last event. Didn't pay off. I inherently want some action on that now that he is, not the darling anymore and he's super cheap. So, like Mark Leishman being the 5th or 6th most expensive golfer is, I don't quite understand it. I mean, I know someone's got to be down here, but damn, Mark Leishman being less expensive than his fellow countryman Cam Smith. I don't quite understand that. And Keegan, I think, will be super popular coming off of his win. I would.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, like listen, I like Keegan. I think Keegan's a good dude. Really excited to see him win. Like I don't know, man. You got like it's so hard to win on tour. It's so hard to like get it done, right? And you saw the nerves obviously getting to Keegan. Yeah. So like I'm really pumped for Keegan to get his win and sort of get things back on track for him. I don't really think this is the spot for him. He is number 6th in FedEx points though. So like outside of the top 5, he is the next person in line to control his destiny and the next most likely person to be able to get himself the FedEx Cup win outside of the top 5 should he win. So like, could Keegan back-to-back him? Oh, okay. I mean, sure, but it would be,
that
2
would be
tour
wild.
wins. Yeah, but listen, Billy Horschel like put a display on several years ago. Fucking Bill Haas has won the FedEx Cup. Okay,
this is true. He didn't even realize he won the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, he couldn't even do the mental gymnastics to like figure out that he even had a chance that year.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need to be Stephen Hawking to like understand the dynamics at play and all the possible scenarios and permutations and outcomes that would come together for somebody like Bill Haas to win the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I can certainly see it. I will have some Keegan shares, but it'll certainly be underweight and probably only in like 1 or 2 lineups. I'm much more interested in playing a lower owned Cam or a lower owned Mark Leishman in this price range. Aaron Wise, I think will just as likely be as popular, and he's been as erratic a golfer as you can find throughout the year. So I was on to Wise last week or last time he was out. Love the result, but I don't think I'm going to chase it.
Yeah. What about Phil? What are we doing with Phil this week? No, that was rude.
I don't want Phil on a course that puts a premium on driver. Just don't.
But like he dances and it's all like cute and funny. No.
He also does roundhouse kicks over Chris O'Donnell's head, but
yeah. I mean, does the dancing and lovability? But
the dancing and lovability is all about Phil. He's just trying to make sure he's not. Did you guys see his new video where he's out on the range with the gun range and his bullets? No, you should check that out.
All I know is he better get this shit sorted out before they go to Paris. That's all I know.
No, Phil is simply trying to put as much momentum behind his public image before this Tiger Woods match.
No. I mean, because we can't lose to the Europeans is what I'm getting at. He better not, like, because he was already sort of borderline in my mind, and obviously he was. Obviously he was. What do you mean?
I don't think he was borderline at all. I think like 10 out of 10 times you should, like, somebody else should have got that spot than Phil. I get it, but
no, I mean, like, considering everything, like, whatever, he was never not going to get it. Like, so that's
correct.
That's not really the problem, but he needs to get it figured out, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, his focus certainly seems to be on other things.
Yeah.
However, Phil's Phil, and like, I don't see Phil like not getting up for the Ryder Cup. I think it's the single most important like part of his legacy. Like, this is the first year he's ever had to been picked for a cup, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't see Phil like overlooking the Ryder Cup at all. I just think that like there may be some other people that probably deserve to be there on their merits this year. But Phil got in for his, captain-ness.
That's fair. Yeah, I'd rather just find $100 and play Gary. So
I'll have probably 100% exposure to Bubba though.
Oh boy,
guys won 3 events this year, like, and he's been number 1 or number 2 off of the tee recently. I don't know. I just like $6,500 Bubba for a guy that's won 3 events this year. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe not 100%, maybe 80, but either way, I'm going to be significantly overweight on Bubba. He is by far and away the best golfer down in this range.
Okay. Any other golfers here in this lower?
I guess it's weird. What are we under? Are we under 7 or are we under like? I was just going to Phil. Are we like? I really like a couple other guys right here too.
Yeah, no, talk about them.
Well, I think your Woodland call is awesome, and I'll have a bunch of exposure to Woodland as well. And the same goes with Casey, and then there's probably a gap. But I think Woodland is Another one of these golfers that is sort of, I think he'll be underrated and overlooked this week and probably lower owned than he should be. A guy that I feel like is going to do plenty of his damage off of the tee with his longer irons, the par 3 ball striking. I don't know. Like, I just feel like if a couple of putts drop Gary's way, that you could see Gary putting up another top 10 here.
Yeah.
So, and down here in this range, I feel like he'll be the guy that probably that has the highest opportunity or highest percentage chance to put up a top 10 and probably be one of the lower owned guys, especially with Casey right above him and his track record here. Although is the questionable tag still by Casey? I'm not looking at DraftKings. Is the questionable tag still by Casey? It was on DK for a while. I hope it stays there is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have DraftKings up either, but yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, as far as like guys down here, I'm probably just going to go like fully in on Woodland and have quite a bit of Leishman just because that's a pretty wild price for him. But I'm not going to play a ton this week, to be totally honest. And I'm not going to chase a ton of guys down here. I'm just going to go 100% on a couple of guys and sort of mix it up at the top besides JT. So
just hope the bottom end hits and then just, mix it in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because you figure, I mean, what are I don't know, it's out of 30. Like everybody's getting like the finish position bonus. Like you're not gaining a ton out of that. Like you could easily get one of these guys in the top 10, and it doesn't even mean that they necessarily played that well. Like
true.
Just being in the top third of a field, that's like a top 40 or a top 30 in a regular event. So why can't like somebody just sort of catch a hot putter down here and have like a top 6 finish? Like there's no reason why it wouldn't happen. So I'm probably just going to do that and see what happens.
Okay. Can't hate it.
Yeah. Not really. All right. Moving up in the field, I mean, you have the 7K range. Who else here are you guys really looking at?
In the 7K range, like the two guys that probably interest me the most are Tommy Fleetwood and Webb Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Webb, I think, I don't know. I think the course just sets up well for him. I've read some of his old quotes on Future of Fantasy, and he seems to like the setup of the course. I think he does what the course demands that you do well, which is put the ball in the fairway and strike the ball well with your longer irons, especially for him. He's going to have more long irons than maybe, a golfer that's a little longer than him, like a Brooks or something that's going to put it out there a ways. So I think I think he does what the course asks you to do well. And I don't think his putting is, a total mirage anymore. I don't know if it's as good as people think it is, but he is a positive Bermuda putter, and his putting has certainly stabilized over the course of this year that I feel like this is the type of event for like a Webb. I don't think the tournament's going to run away from him. And I think that, he's kind of been biding his time a little bit lately with some strong performances mixed in with a couple of and I don't know. I get the feeling that that this is a good spot for Webb to show up and just take down another marquee type event. Sort of like when he came out and won the Players, like out of nowhere. At least I kind of saw it as out of nowhere. I think that this could be another one of those setups. So I'm going to be on Webb this weekend. Then Tommy Fleetwood is just, I get the feeling that people are going to be off Fleetwood with the Ryder Cup coming. Americans, I think, inherently don't want to play the Euros on the Ryder Cup, just a fandom thing. I could be wrong about that, but Tommy is just not, I think he's disappointed some folks. He doesn't have any course history. Like, I just get the impression that he's going to be a little lower owned than he probably should be. And with everybody talking about Tommy recently, when's he ever going to get it done? When's he going to win on this could be the tournament and the course that he does it at. I don't know. I think he's just going to be lower owned than he should be. I like Tommy. I like his game, and I like his game for a small field like this.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on Tommy. And then I'll probably go pretty heavy on Cantlay too. He's third in strokes gained off the tee over his last 24. So, yeah, I'll probably just load up on them and, again, just sort of hope that whatever combinations I have in the 8K and up range sort of work out in my favor.
Okay. We skipped like literally right over the end of the 6,900.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Well, no, we did. We just none of us mentioned it, and I just kind of want to get y'all's take on Patrick Reed, because here's my thoughts and my case on Patrick Reed here.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to initially look at him and say no. Like, he just had the whole what I don't know, the baseball game thing. Like, everyone's like Patrick. Like, I don't know if anybody's really a Patrick Reed fan, right? I don't think anyone's racing to play him.
Dustin Diaz is.
Who is?
Dustin.
Oh yeah, well, okay. He's got one fan. You're right. D's out there, my boy. Hey, you can't see me right now, but I'm giving you a high five out there, D's. But either way, I don't think that anyone is rushing to play Patrick Reed. I also think that when you look at the course history here, it's not great for Patrick Reed. It's not horrible because there's only 30 people in the field, but he's had a 13th, a 24th, a 27th, and a 19th. He's just barely one time he's finished inside the top half of this field.
Right.
It's not really his course, but he has played well on other Donald Ross designs. He does ball strike well with his long irons, when he's on. I don't know what it is, like why he's negative strokes gained here, but like I feel like we all, correct me if I'm wrong, but are all these like not the same arguments that people made for him going into Augusta on why he couldn't do well there?
No, yeah, for sure.
And here we are. Like, so I have this feeling that like Patrick Reed could just show up and like throat stomp this field and just be like, hey, y'all fuckers thought I was done. We're taking this Ryder Cup. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I'm not sure what it is. Like, everyone's hating on Patrick Reed. No one's talking about him. He's at the bottom of this field. Allows you to fit in a whole bunch of top end guys. It's a no cut event. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think there might be a serious game theory case to be made to play a lot of Patrick Reed.
Could be. Yeah, I guess I fall into the like what you said people will think, and that's what I think. But I mean, again, this is one of those things where honestly, I mean, you can make sort of a case for just about anybody in this field, like even if it's just strictly on like an ownership basis. And he right now, out of like, say 500 above him and 500 below him, like he's projected, at least on labs right now, to be like in the lower range of all these guys. So if you're going to take that angle and you're going to take the Patrick Reed can score when he sort of wants to, which is definitely the correct take. Like when he's focused and he's on, like there are very few guys that can kind of hang with him. Like when he's fully on, I don't know. I guess, like I said, I'm sort of taking stands down here, and he's not the guy that I'm willing to like really root for. And that's kind of what I want this week because I'm not playing that much. So I just want to like play guys that I feel like rooting for.
Yeah, and that's sort of like, again, I'm not a Patrick Reed fan. Whatever. But I think when you're talking about a 30-man field and you're talking about a major champion being priced down here,
sure,
towards the bottom end, I think that there's just, I don't know.
I agree.
Find yourself on the right side of variance, but the problem is I don't know if I can click the button. Because right. I think the way you think, like, guy's never shown it here. He's never gotten it done, blah, blah, blah. And then the problem is every time I go down that line of reasoning, I get to the end and I go, I said the same shit about the Masters.
Yeah. I mean, my exact thought process is proving your point, like, which is why he's like a reasonable play, right? Like that's both of those things can be true. Like, I don't want to root for him. And that's why I should probably end up playing him because other people feel that way. So why not?
Yeah. So anyway, we can go back up. I'm sorry. I just felt like we missed like a game theory opportunity there.
Yeah, that's fine. This is so weird.
It is, dude. I don't even know where we're left off at.
I think I'm doing this. I think we just need to do this forever now.
Oh man. Could you imagine?
What ends up happening? We talk for so long about the guys up at the top, and then we speed through the bottom when we should probably be doing it the other way.
In most full field event weeks, like especially like your B tier events, I think you're 100% right, because that's where the events are won and lost with value.
Right.
And maybe not at the very bottom of the field. Maybe it's, up between the $6,800 and $7,400 ranges.
Right.
But it is interesting. I'm having trouble like keeping track of like which way we're going and where we left off at. So I want to get into like I'll put some fan share stuff out here right now. So right now, this is very early in the week, but right now we've got the two of the highest tagged golfers are right here in the $7,000 range with Webb Simpson and Billy Horschel. I didn't realize Webb was quite as chalky as he is, but Billy Horschel, #1 overall tagged golfer. I don't see that changing between now and the end of the week either. He will likely be the highest tagged golfer, which will mean he'll probably be one of the highest owned golfers, or probably anchor a lot of people's lineups. What's your Horschel take? Is it the time to play him? Is it the time to be off of him? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I probably won't be, but I mean, I think this is one of those, like, what is he? Was he third at the BMW also? Right, he was third at the Northern Trust, and then third at the BMW also. So obviously he's playing well, but I think this might be one of those, like, I don't know, man, that like the price makes sense for you to play him, but if he's going to be like the highest owned golfer, I'd rather just have Cantlay.
Yeah. So for comparison, Cantlay is 18th in tags right now, compared to Billy Horschel's #1. Billy Horschel has 11 tags, and Patrick Cantlay's got 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he probably doesn't bridge that gap, even though it's like early Monday evening, but I don't know, man. Like, I think I would just rather play Cantlay, and I'm probably I'd rather avoid the chalk like around here, because if for whatever reason Horschel comes in like 23rd, then you're way ahead of the game.
That's the thing. I think you need to have a clear understanding of what you're going to do with Billy Horschel this week. I don't think I've settled. I haven't answered the question for myself yet. My take is that if you're going to roster Billy Horschel, you need to make sure that you have a decidedly different lineup. Like whether you're leaving a ton of salary out there, or you're just taking like a very contrarian build and you're like not rostering any of the top 5 guys or something like that. Otherwise, there's just only so many ways this plays out. Like, I guess I'm on the bandwagon right now that Billy Horschel just is not going to put up a top 10 performance. And if he doesn't put up a top 10 performance, I don't need to roster any of him.
Right.
And that's sort of my take. That the problem is Billy Horschel's a streaky golfer, and right now he's hot.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I generally don't like to chase. I didn't chase Cam Smith the last time. I don't think I'm going to chase Billy Horschel. I am. So here's the other thing, I guess, about Billy and Webb is I think they're both very similar golfers. And they're similar in price point. I think I would probably rather play Webb than Billy, is like probably what my decision comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing that I was going to suggest to people, just from like an ownership standpoint, and we talk about it a lot, but it's even more like viable this week, is sort of like stacking up guys right next to each other in salary. So like if you wanted to just go like Cantlay, Horschel, Webb, like I don't know that those 3 are going to be in a ton of lineups together. So like that would be another way to sort of differentiate yourself. Like they're definitely all 3 are going to be owned, but how often are they going to be owned together is the bigger question. Because you just want to avoid a duplicate. Like you don't really care otherwise.
For sure.
So that's a possibility. Like if you play those, if you go with those 3 right next to each other, it leaves you with like 9,400 per spot. So you can just do whatever else you want, basically. Like you throw Rose in there and you can still afford 2 guys in the 8K range. So that's another way to look at it also. Or you could just hedge and throw Horschel in like a single entry GPP. That's another thing.
I mean, why not, right?
Like that's what I've been doing a lot in general. Like if there's a guy that I'm a little like I'm worried that the ownership is going to end up screwing me. I've just been like putting them in like one lineup in a 3-entry or in a single entry lineup. And like, that's my hedge for the week, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm a fish, so who the fuck knows?
Whatever, you're going to take down GPP one day.
Yeah.
All right. So moving up in the field, I guess. How do you guys feel about guys like Fleetwood and Rahm Simpson?
Well, you already know I'm on Simpson. I'm on Fleetwood. Rahm is, I guess, the question mark. Kind of been playing like dog shit lately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, except for our Ryder Cup potential. But other than that, it's unfortunate. Not going to play him.
You're not going to play any of them? I guess I don't have a strong take one way or the other. I guess my general thoughts on Rahm are that this is probably not the course for him, because I don't necessarily think it's the type of course he can overpower. And I think that those are the type of courses that Rahm can succeed on. I think that this course, regardless of how far he's hitting it, is going to ask him to do some long iron ball striking that is not really his forte. His 7th place last year is encouraging. I guess the one thing that I can see happening here that maybe benefits a guy like Rahm, especially if his driver's on, it hasn't really been on lately. But if the course is really wet and it plays fairly saturated because of this hurricane, and I haven't checked the weather, so I really don't know. But I could see this scenario playing out where we have a lift clean in place or a very soft, wet golf course, I think that would benefit Rahm and allow his type of game to kind of make its way to the top. Yeah. But short of that, if we have like a firm, fast East Lake, I don't see it as his track. That said, though, if everybody takes this tactic of I don't want Rahm, I don't want Rahm, I don't want Rahm, he is one of the most prolific scorers in the game, and this is the type of week where, like, because everyone's going to have some sort of finishing bonus, your scoring is going to make a big difference relative to your finishing position. Yeah. I mean, it's not out of the question that he could record an extra eagle and 2 extra birdies compared to the field. So I can see some reasons and some angles that if things were to fall the right way, that he could make for a good play and be successful here. But I don't think I have enough conviction in those angles for me to say that I'm going to take any kind of shares of him.
Yeah, and maybe if Fleetwood wasn't right there, I would consider it a little more. But like I said, I would rather just load up on Fleetwood. And you're on Webb too, so like he probably won't make his way into our lineups for the most part.
No, yeah, I doubt he finds his way in there. But again, I can see where somebody would go after it.
Yeah.
I like, you can repeat all that same stuff for Day, by the way, like just above him. Just about, like, I'm just scrolling up. Like I feel like I don't feel like Day's going to hit enough fairways for me to like say that I feel any sort of confidence in playing him.
I know, it's so frustrating too, because it's just like you just want to be able to be like, he's not striking it well, so you can't play him. But like he hasn't struck it well all year. Like it's pretty anomalous what he's done.
Found a way to win an event, 2 events, and put a bunch of like good performances together, and in the same time, screw me at whatever event I rostered way too much of him at.
Yeah, like even during his wins, like at the Wells Fargo, he gained 0.1 strokes on approach, and at the Farmers, he won while losing strokes on approach. Like that doesn't happen. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you there. I think obviously talent-wise and for $8,000, you could get yourself there, but I probably will continue to not play him and continue to just hemorrhage money.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Day's for me. He did. All right, so here's the one thing. So Day is the only one that pops to my memory recently, but he withdrew from this event like 2-3 years ago. 2 years ago? I think it was 2. Yeah. Anyway, like there is dead money out there, right? Like there are guys that are just dead. They can't win. They can't, like, you know what I mean? Like if they start out with 2 or 3 bad rounds or something, like what are the realistic chances of somebody WDing here? I would imagine it's probably really low, but like it seems like every one of these no cut events we get one.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be like somebody shoots like 77 on Thursday, and I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know if there's a good story to tell yourself other than like who's withdrew recently. Casey.
Yeah, but that was some BS, bro. That was with the rain delay and everything. He didn't have a hurt back. That's what I was talking about with the Q tag. When I saw that earlier. What's that? He had literally anything better to do.
Kind of like Vontae Davis. He just was like, no, I have early dinner reservations, so I'm gonna retire.
I don't. Dude, what kind of a dick move is that to go through the entire training camp with your teammates? And I don't know how you could do that to the other 52 men on that roster.
Yeah, that was
honestly so disrespectful to me. It's just like, bro, it's a good thing you left at halftime. Somebody would have whooped your ass in that locker room.
Yeah, just say, you know what, guys, coach, I'm not feeling it. I really don't know if I could get through this, and just stand on the sideline for an hour. Like, just nut up and deal with it. Like, whatever. What did you think it was going to be going to Buffalo? Like, did you think you guys were going to be good? I don't understand.
It's so disrespectful, man, to like put in all that time and energy and your team. Like, it's one thing if you're a golfer and you're like, I can't do it, and it's you and your caddy and like you're like two other people. But there's a 53-man roster and a whole front office that like put, I don't know, whatever, move on.
Yeah,
it's classless.
Outside of that, as we keep going up, obviously I'm going to roster a bunch of Finau, but like I said before, I really am going to try to mix in some of these guys. Probably, like, if there's a guy that I'm not playing in like this 8K, I mean, I guess you could just throw in Ricky and Tiger too, like the 8K to 10K range. I'm probably not going to have much of day, like we just mentioned. I'm probably not going to have that much of. I just lost my complete train of thought. Probably not that much Bryson either. But I think that this could be a place where Molinari kind of figures it back out. It just seems like the kind of scoring that he sort of thrives in. So, and he did what? He top 10 the BMW. So, he seems like he's a little back. So why not?
Yeah. I'm big time on the Molinari train this week. I was on it last time out. I'm going to be on it again. I think that very much like Webb, I think that Molinari does what this course requires you to do well to find success, and that's to find the fairway and to ball strike well with your long irons. I think that he'll continue to do that exceptionally well. He gets a few putts to fall, and Molinari is kind of right back in form that he was earlier, ready to go into the Ryder Cup. So I'm not afraid of rostering a decent clip of Molinari here. The same goes for Bryson, actually. Like, I understand that Bryson should not get this done, and I understand that you should not go back-to-back wins and then a top 20 and then another win or another something like that. But I don't know, man. Bryson's been really impressive, and he has been doing what you need to do to win golf tournaments, and that is he's not been stepping on his own dick. Yeah. Like, he really hasn't. He is like the analytical side is serving him well in terms of, I think, how he prepares for golf courses and how he mentally prepares himself. Like, I don't know. I've not been like a truther or a hater of Bryson. I've just sort of been like out on him for however long he's been on the tour.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's really hard to look past like some of the stuff starting to come together for a guy like Bryson DeChambeau. And it would not be out of the question. It's definitely within like the range of outcomes for me to see him just walking away backwards with this thing.
Yeah. I just
goofy hat around and take it.
I don't understand. Like, if Bryson successfully back-to-backed and then wins again, and Keegan Bradley wins in between those two occurrences as the only like things that my son has been alive for in golf, is like a troubling. It's really like sort of throwing me off a little bit. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
Who knows? How would you feel though? How would you feel if the first full golf tournament that your son were to be part of was capped off with a hometown brand Gary Woodland victory.
Oh, I mean that would be the best. Like I have.
Wait a minute. Before I go any further, before you go any further, I'm going to interrupt you one more time. Didn't you tweet out recently, or maybe you told me personally, that you're going to work at a school named Woodland or something?
Well, yeah. In my new district, one of the middle schools is Woodland Middle School.
Okay, it's faded, folks. Lock in Gary Woodland for the W this week.
Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't get your blood flowing and get you to click on the lock button for Gary, then I don't know what will. Yeah. But on top of that, Wedge, shout out Wedge, sent me an Under Armour golf polo for Jackson. So obviously on Sunday, if he's in contention, Jackson's going to be rocking the Under Armour for good old Gary.
Oh my God, it's all. Listen, I've been calling your baby swag for like. It's been a premature call for like 2 months now. This is it, bro. This is. I wish people could see me. I'm so animated. Right? This is a bad week not to have my camera on, but this is it.
I really wish it could work for NFL and not for this, not for the golf slate.
I really feel like that you should not worry about where your good juju comes from. I think you should just let the good juju flow. Fair. And maybe what'll happen is while you're celebrating your Gary Woodland victory, you're not even paying attention to your $3 play action that's climbing the ranks. and you might get done celebrating. You might get off your celebratory phone call with Wedge saying, Wedge, your onesie for my son carried Gary to victory. And right about the time you hang up, your wife's going to come running through the door with your laptop and $200,000 in winnings. Right at the top. I feel like you should just let the good vibes flow, man.
All right. I guess I got to max enter the play action this week. That's it. You got to do it.
This is free money now.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean,
folks, I want everyone to know we don't charge people for this level of entertainment and prophecy either. Just.
I wish my life was as exciting as you make it sound. That's really the only thing that I'm thinking about right now.
Listen, it could be. It could be your life on this very Sunday. This Sunday next could change dramatically for the better.
You just inspired me to build a showdown lineup for tonight. Because maybe tonight's the night.
Dramatically tonight.
There we go. All right. What are you doing with I guess like that trio, like Decky? I mean, you're playing Fee now, right? Like, yeah, play Fee now.
Maybe.
No, you're playing Fee now. So besides that, like what are you doing with Tiger, Fowler, Decky? Like are you following along with what I'm doing and sort of spreading out up here, or are you taking stands at the top?
I'm probably only going to play 4 to 5 lineups this week in the $6, the big $6, and just be done with it. So I'll probably take some stands everywhere and whittle my player pool down to virtually nothing by the time it's all said and done. This is an unpopular take, and it will probably not be a winning take, but I will fade Tony Finau in most of those lineups. Sorry.
I hear my son crying upstairs right now. So
that's because it's because he's a child.
No, it's because he knows that there's anti-Finau sentiment in the world.
It's not anti-Finau. You didn't even let me finish my take.
Doesn't matter.
I feel like
you're dead to me.
I just proclaimed GPP victory. Do you see how fickle the crowd is, folks? I just proclaimed this man 2 back-to-back GPP victories with his brand sakeness, Gary Woodland, and I've been castigated, exiled because of my marginal take on Finau. Let the record reflect. I think that I will be underweight on Finau. I will roster him, but I don't think that I'm going to be 100%. I think I'm going to go underweight, and it'll be for the same reason or the opposite reason of others. Just I think everyone is going to be on Finau, and if Finau doesn't put up a top 10, then you're way ahead of the field.
Can we just rewind for a second?
And also, Bermuda is his worst putting surface as well.
You're his worst putting surface.
He has not putted on any surface.
What was that one word you used?
Which one? I use several words that are above high school level. So
wow. That's I don't even remember anymore.
Castigated?
Castigated? I've never heard that in my life.
Castigated means like to cast out, exile.
I thought okay.
You were thinking I might have said castrated, which means castrated, which means to remove your penis. No, I did not say castrated. Yes. I said castigated.
All right. Okay. This is a family-friendly show, guys. Come on.
I mean, these are simple medical procedures we're discussing. This is
okay
in all scientific context. Anyway,
we're gonna get booted from YouTube in a minute. We're gonna get reported.
It's fairly unlikely. All right, what don't we have like the top 5 golfers to get to since we're going backwards?
Yeah. Go ahead and discuss.
You know what I'm doing. Like this isn't rocket science, people. Like if you've listened to the show, you know I'm playing at least like 80% JT and just mix and matching the rest. Like you can make a case for any of them. It is what it is. I'm going like fully in on JT and just hoping the brand carries me through this week.
JT of the top 5, I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play any Rose or DJ. I will probably have one Rory lineup, and then the other 4 lineups I'm playing will have Rose and Brooks in them. Brooks is actually my favorite here, and Rose and Thomas is my second favorite of this group.
Gotcha.
You asked me about Woods. Woods is a giant question mark for me. I haven't done tons of research this week either, but in general, he's only played this course one time, I think, right? Like way back when. Was it longer? Either way,
they've played here since 2004. So he's won the FedEx Cup twice, right? So he's probably been there twice.
Okay, so it's just I'm not looking like way back, but he hasn't played here in some years.
Oh yeah, since 2013.
Yeah, so the course hasn't changed dramatically, although I think they did flip the 9s around since the last time he saw it, but that won't really matter. My concern on Tiger is something that he's improved recently, which is his driving. Again, I think this course requires you to be a capable driver of the golf ball and to not be missing fairways. If you were to ask me like 5 weeks ago if I would have rostered Tiger here, I would have said no for that reason. But he has dramatically improved his off the tee game in the last 3 events. I say dramatically, like he's just gotten it in, like reined it all in so that his approach game can really do the work for him and he's not putting himself in bad positions off the tee. That said, though, I don't if it all flips back the other way, I think Tiger could really find himself in like some less than optimal positions from a couple of snap tee balls. And I don't think it takes a whole lot to kind of get him back there right now. So I'll probably fade the ownership, knowing full well that if he hits fairways, he's going to just walk away with this thing, I think, because he's just so prolific if he's in the fairway. I love him. So I don't know. I may change my mind by the time I actually come to building some lineups and put him in a couple. Right now, I'm just out on him based on ownership and where I see some opportunities for it to go wrong and him not to put up a top 10 or top 5. But I don't feel like comfortable about it. Just for the record, like I'm not thrilled about fading him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I again, a lot of this is going to come down for me personally. By the time it's all said and done, a lot of this will come down to ownership as well. I'm going to be on the plays I'm on, and I'll move some of that ownership, up or down based on where the rest of the field is in ownership. You asked me about Ricky and Decky. I think no on Ricky and potentially on Decky. Doesn't Decky have like a crappy history here though? I know he's a terrible Bermuda putter.
He was, he was 5th in 2016.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought.
12th and 15, and then not great. He didn't play well here last year. He lost almost 10 strokes putting. Just he's
been putting better lately too.
The full Decky though, like 10 strokes.
You know what? I think I'm just going to fade Decky on Bermuda being his worst surface. Obviously, his ball striking is there, and he's finally healthy again. But again, like, you got to find a reason, because again, you're going to have to just, there's 30 golfers in the field. I think you spread yourself out at all, and you can just guarantee you're not going to win anything.
Right.
Because so I guess the other thing about this week that, if you haven't played a short, like a small field final event type of setup yet, is the swings in your winnings are going to like be dramatic and frequent.
Don't look. Just don't look. And if you look and you're annoyed on Thursday, then I really don't want to have like a conversation with you.
Dude, if you look at your scores on Thursday and you're pissed off, it probably means you're set up great for Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. The best like Thursday nights, like potential winnings that I've had have been my worst weeks always.
I can see that.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's just it never works out that well.
So now that we're at the top and we can finally talk about the top 5 golfers here. One, do you agree that, like, I know where you're at on JT, but do you agree on Brooks, or do you think Brooks is a bad play because of the driver? I think Brooks is my favorite play. I think this is like the kind of event that he could put the cherry on top of his whole year in the 2 majors, and like, you know what, some bitches, DJ's out, I'm getting with Paulina. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Brooks is like kind of has that mentality and that ability to just be like, I won 2 majors. I can go out and take this event, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't shock me. I'll probably be like, I'm sort of with you. Like I'll have the most JT, but I'll definitely have my fair share of Brooks, and probably just avoid the rest of the top here, because I just think you need to take some stands. Like I'll have one lineup with each of those guys, but I don't think I'm gonna have too much of any of them, because I think that if you have more than, I don't know, what's your number this week for like your pool that you're gonna build lineups with?
Like 12 guys. Not, it can't even be 12. I think it's probably like 11 guys, 12, 10 guys maybe.
Yeah, I think if
but again, I'm only building like 5 lineups.
Yeah, even if you're going to build like 20, I think if you have much more than a dozen golfers, you're probably doing it wrong. It doesn't mean that you're going to win by doing that, but it just means if you're spreading yourself out too much, you're never going to hit the right combination if you have a little bit of everybody. It's just not how it works. Yeah,
I think even if you're putting in like 150 lineups, you can't roster everybody, can you? Maybe you can. I'm not going to be putting in 150. I'm not going to have to worry about it. But even if you're putting in 150, you probably have to find 1 or 2 guys to fade.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you're building 150 lineups for this week, like, God bless, because I don't even know how like the math works out there, but I can't even build 150 lineups for NFL. So I don't know how anybody does it in any sport ever.
Optimizers?
Yeah, I do that, but then I end up with like 6% Tyler Irvin this week, and like just you know what I mean? Like
I do.
It's too much. I can't deal with it.
Okay. All right, now we're down to now we've got all the player talk out of the way, and we know where we're going to play and our shares. Let's get to the important stuff. Okay. Is Paulina leaving DJ?
Probably.
They're going to work it out.
Do you think they're going to work it out?
If those two can't make it.
You don't delete pictures off Instagram if you're going to stay with someone.
That's such a childish move. Like,
I think it's a very 21st century relationship thing, but
yeah.
But that's literally like, look at me.
Yeah, have you seen Paulina? Her whole life it's been, hey, look at me.
But like in a different way. Like
no, I mean, like, she just loves attention. She's the daughter of a superstar athlete and a multimillionaire. She likes attention.
Yeah, I don't
Period.
know. I think that's a weird move. I think it knocks her down a couple pegs in my mind. Not a fan of that move.
Okay, aside from being a fan of her social media, manners, is she staying with DJ?
They're gonna work it out.
Okay.
And
so what do you think's wrong?
Chick supposedly it's about that chick he's been like golfing with, like that model or whatever.
Oh, I wasn't aware that he was golfing with a model.
Yeah, it's some weird thing, and I'm like, dude, like, what do you like? Why even? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me.
She probably found out the like 19 other chicks that he's been banging for the last 4 years is my take.
It's just like there's no like spectacular like car crash and 4-iron to the head and like not playing golf anymore for him. Like it's like Tiger's got to be so jealous right now.
How many Waffle House waitresses did it take to get to that point though?
Fair.
See, that's what we find out over a period of time.
Exactly, right? Like, see, I am of the opinion that there's some that this is all tied together with like some long running drama, because I don't believe that DJ and Paulina are the type of people that avoid drama. I think they both like it. It's my take.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You don't delete all your pictures off social media if there ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, full agree.
So that said, do we think that there is the potential for DJ to go super underowned as the entire golfing like world believes that his world is crumbling down? When in fact we could all just be a whole bunch of Jerry Springer addicts. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. You wanna give away the sauce on fan share for what DJ's looking like right now?
Sure. He's like middle of the road. He's like really like right in the middle in tags. He's like 10th right now. So
I think that people are going to outsmart themselves, and DJ is higher owned than most people think.
Interesting. You think it's going to be like a reverse game theory situation?
Yeah. Okay. I think so many people are going to think that it's going to end up working in his like, you know, raising his ownership. And honestly, it's not a week that you can't afford him. Like, you know, when he's 11-7 in a full field, that's different. When he's 11-3 and you can roster a Kevin Na for $6,000, you can fit whoever you want in. So I don't think people are going to be that scared off by his price. That's my take.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it'll be super important to watch ownership this week. I will certainly be making some key decisions Wednesday night right before lock based on ownership. Good, bad, or indifferent. Again, I think this is a week where like the player and the individual player and their attributes maybe matter less than just taking the field leverage spot when you're playing in GPPs. So I'll certainly be doing that on Wednesday nights, or this Wednesday night. I guess the last guy, I don't think that I'm going to go there, but do you guys have any strong takes on Rose? Obviously, nabbing world #1, big deal.
No.
Do you think that maybe just detracts from him or takes away from his focus this week? Or, I mean, I don't think so, but I also don't believe I'm going to roster Justin Rose either. So
no, I'm not going to roster him. Not for any not for any particular reason. I just think his ownership at his price, and I just don't want to. I don't want to eat that. I'd rather go down a little bit and have like a more balanced lineup.
Fair enough.
Yep.
And we successfully navigated an entire field going backwards.
There you go.
That's how good we are. We just do it every which way. All right. Well, that has been it for us for the Bogey Free podcast for the 2018 Tour Championship. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and YouTube. And of course, if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contest this week.
See ya. Good season, boys.
That's right. Good luck, boys.
See ya.